It all kicks off at Qingting Academy, with students rolling in for another day of class. In the hallways, chaos is already breaking out. A boy is begging for his sister's medicine back. This is Lin Yu, who threatens the bully, warning him that he'll regret it if he doesn't return it. But Zhang Yang just laughs in his face. He mocks the kid's pitifully low vitality level, which is only 0.8. The big guy rubs it in, saying the only reason he even got into this school was because of his prodigy sister. With that, the bully shakes the bottle, asking if he really wants the medicine. Holding out his hand, he tells the main character to come and get it. Lin Yu desperately lunges for the bottle, but the jerk just tosses it into the air. The glass vial hits the floor and shatters into a million pieces. A look of pure shock washes over the MC's face as he sees the destroyed medicine. Overcome with rage, he grabs the bully's collar with all his might. Taking advantage of the boy's weakness, Zhang lands a brutal kick right in his stomach. Lying in the middle of the trash, Lin Yu is told that's where he truly belongs. Just then, one of the students warns that the teacher is heading to the classroom. The bully turns his back and walks away, telling the trash to stay where it belongs. Staring at the floor, he laments that the nutritional solution was for his sister. Now he'll have to work overtime to buy another one. Filled with hatred, the boy swears that those two idiots are going to pay dearly for this. Suddenly, a hand appears in front of him, offering to help him up. The student Lim Sin asks if her classmate is okay after that humiliation. He thanks her for the help, and she suggests they head back together. Time passes, and soon an angry boss is yelling at Lin Yu for being late for his shift. In a hurry, the boy rushes to get changed, promising he'll start right away. The girl with pink hair just watches him go. As he bikes through the city, the narration explains that back in the year 2050, a cataclysm unleashed corruption upon the world. Some people awakened abilities to fight against the monsters and became elite warriors. However, they discovered that corpses were also affected, turning into feral beasts driven by a thirst for blood. The only effective way to prevent these reanimations is to incinerate the bodies. That's why his part-time job is at a massive crematorium, handling the remains that come from the front lines. In the locker room, the boy puts on his protective uniform and adjusts the straps. With his mask on, he calculates that he needs to scrape together 5,000 by the end of the month for his sister's life support. Walking through the dark corridors, he remembers that his sister is a genius with the extremely rare talent of psychokinesis. But on their 16th birthday, she fell into an inexplicable coma. Since then, the girl has been trapped inside a medical tank, unable to wake up. Since he was born without any talent, she always protected him. Now it's his turn to take care of her. Pushing the gurney, he figures that if he burns 10 bodies today, he can afford to replace the medicine that was broken. He activates the machine, and intense flames engulf the warrior's corpse. But the body starts screaming from within the fire, releasing a dark energy of corruption. Watching through the glass, he thinks that any mistake in here could create a monster, which is why the job pays so well. The dark fire explodes against the glass, something he's never seen happen before. Completely tense, he wonders what in the world that was. Tendrils of black smoke begin to leak through the cracks of the incineration chamber. The MC backs away in fear as the shadows spread across the floor. Without warning, the macabre energy lunges forward and hits the boy head on. Soon after, the process finishes, and a metal box is delivered. Holding the urn, he wishes the warrior to rest in peace. Facing the corpse of an alien beast, he hopes the incident from a moment ago won't repeat itself. As soon as he touches the monster's fur, the black smoke appears again and creeps up his arm. The dark energy envelops the boy's entire body in seconds. With his eyes glowing, he starts gasping, feeling the power flow through him. The boy lets out a scream of pain as the sinister force erupts around him. The soul of the jackal beast manifests as a giant shadow behind Lin Yu. A monstrous voice echoes in his mind, roaring that it's starving and wants to devour humans. Visions of the monster tearing soldiers apart flash before him, revealing the creature's fury. On his knees and out of breath, he realizes he just witnessed the monster's memories. In shock, the young man thinks about how the warriors on the front lines face this kind of hell every single day. Just then, a virtual panel appears, informing him that he can choose one of the monster's abilities to absorb. He understands that the energy from before has awakened a soul-devour system. Touching corpses now lets him steal their memories and powers. Looking at the options, he dismisses the devouring technique, afraid of turning into some flesh-eating freak. His final decision is the claw ability, which seems pretty useful for direct combat. Immediately, his right arm transforms into a monstrous claw covered in red spikes. Admiring his own mutated arm, he feels the power radiating from the red claws. The panel displays the attack details and also military martial arts. He thinks it's awesome that he can turn his hand into a weapon. A message then informs him that the Devour ability needs 12 hours to recharge, which surprises him. Sitting on the floor, the boy decides to properly study how this system works. He selects the martial arts tab and notices an absorb option. Apparently, using it in combat increases its proficiency. Pondering, the MC wonders if absorbing means he can stack the same ability multiple times. Since he's not sure, he decides he'll test it later when he gets a chance. Looking at the system's level 1, the boy realizes that the interface itself can also evolve. The problem is, there are no instructions on how to upgrade it. Getting to his feet, he focuses on the present and decides to figure out the upgrades later. With his fists clenched, he feels the military technique flowing through him and decides to train to level it up. An aura surrounds his body as the spirit of the dead warrior guides his stance. Following his instincts, he lunges forward, throwing a swift punch that cuts through the air. In a matter of seconds, the young man executes a complex sequence of martial arts moves in mid-air. Finishing with a heavy punch, he notes that the movements are difficult, but his body moves like a seasoned veteran. Finishing the training session, Lin Yu takes a deep breath as the dark aura dissipates. He realizes this military technique is much harder than the one from school, but he notices his vitality is flowing much better now. Thrilled with the results, the boy decides to repeat the process one more time. The next day, the MC is jolted awake in the classroom by someone shouting his name. The teacher chews him out, throwing in his face that with a vitality of 0.8, he won't even be good enough to haul bricks. Embarrassed by the situation, he apologizes for messing up. Soon, the bell rings, ending the class, and the teacher sighs, lamenting the boy's lack of effort. Resting his head in his hand, the young man reflects that he overdid it by training all night and ended up with no sleep. But the ability's proficiency only went up to 10%, which he thinks is way too slow. He concludes that real combat must yield better results, but he's interrupted by a classmate mocking him for sleeping. The idiot suggests he drop out of school and go beg on the streets to get money for his sister in a coma. Staring back at the jerk, the MC's new intimidating presence startles Zhao Li. Just then, Lin Xin steps into the middle of the confrontation, saying the joke has gone too far. But the boy simply turns his back and walks away, making it clear he doesn't need her help. Watching him leave, the girl is captivated, noticing how much more fit his body looks. Annoyed by the dismissal, Zhao Li calls the boy a coward who only knows how to run from a fight. Stopping in his tracks, Lin Yu suggests they settle this once and for all in the martial arts hall. The other students start murmuring that this is insane, since the strength difference between the two is enormous. The MC warns that the fight will be at his opponent's own risk, who immediately accepts the challenge. The news spreads like wildfire, and students rush to get a good spot to watch the fight. Inside the training hall, the two position themselves in the center as the audience waits for the match to begin. In the stands, everyone is sure the fight will be over with a single punch from the bully. Getting into a fighting stance, the jerk announces he's going to use the school's trash to test his own training. Without even moving, the MC claps back that he's nothing more than a little puppy begging for attention. Overcome with fury, his opponent charges forward, throwing a straight punch aimed at the boy's face. Watching from a distance, the pink-haired girl screams her classmate's name, completely worried. But to everyone's surprise, the MC blocks the attack, easily catching the aggressor's fist. With a terrifying look in his eyes, he remembers his promise to make everyone who humiliated him bitterly regret it. The aggressor panics when he realizes the boy's strength has suddenly become much greater than his own. Taking advantage of his enemy's shock, Lin Yu yanks his arm, completely breaking his posture. Without wasting a moment, the boy lands a brutal knee strike right in the middle of the bully's face. With the impact, he follows up with another devastating blow that sends his opponent's body crashing to the floor. The jerk goes skidding across the hall floor, letting out an agonizing scream of pain. Down and humiliated, he spits out blood and realizes he lost a tooth in the process. Looking down at the scene, the MC warns that the punishment will be much worse if he ever speaks about his sister again. With the message delivered, the young man calmly turns around and picks up his backpack from the floor. Still dazed, the aggressor seethes with rage, refusing to accept that he was defeated so easily. In a fit of fury, he pulls out a hidden blade and lunges from behind, trying to end the boy. Sensing the cowardly move, Lin Yu reacts instantly, a look of fury in his eyes. The coward puts all his strength into the blow, trying to pierce his target at any cost. But the MC summons his monstrous claw and blocks the attack, shocking his enemy with the mutation. Completely terrified by the creature in front of him, the jerk falls flat on his butt, trembling with fear. Staring down the loser with glowing eyes, he asks in a cold tone if the fight is still on. The crowd erupts in panic, questioning if the student has been corrupted, since that ability looks anything but human. Ignoring the uproar, the boy simply continues on his way, leaving his opponent stammering behind him. Seething with anger, the loser shouts that the leader of the bullies won't let him get away with this humiliation. Without even looking back, The young man just replies that he'll be waiting. Later that night, the MC arrives at the massive crematorium for another work shift. Walking through the corridors, he celebrates that the system's 12-hour cooldown is finally over. Curious about the possibilities, he wonders what incredible powers he'll be able to extract this time. Suddenly, the boss of the place shows up, demanding respect, and telling the employee to greet him properly. The annoying supervisor continues to complain that young people these days have no manners. Out of patience, the boy bluntly tells him that he only tolerates this job for the money, since no one else will take it. Ignoring the disrespect, the man informs him that a huge new batch of bodies has arrived and tells him to get to work. Entering the processing area, he's met with a dark environment and the morbid silence of the place. The MC approaches the metal gurneys prepared for the next incineration session. Looking at the number of victims, he finds it strange that the number of dead soldiers is increasing so much. He then remembers the memories of the monster he absorbed earlier, where the human defense line seemed to have been annihilated. Worried about the situation, the young man begins to suspect that the city's borders are in extreme danger. But he quickly dismisses the idea, believing that a tragedy of that scale would already be all over the news. Determined to protect himself, he focuses on what matters and concludes that he needs to get stronger as fast as possible. Before starting the process, the boy clasps his hands and apologizes to the dead soldier for disrespecting his body. As soon as he touches the corpse, the dark energy erupts and envelopes his entire arm. Recognizing the victim's uniform, he hopes to absorb the same military martial arts technique as before. With the process complete, the young man lets out a sigh of relief, feeling the new power flowing through him. The system panel appears, displaying the warrior's memory and offering 3 skill options to choose from. Without a second thought, he quickly selects the first option, focused on improving his combat skills. Since devouring is a way to increase proficiency, he wants to use this chance to understand how the evolution works. The virtual interface updates, revealing that the technique has advanced, granting a significant boost to his physical attributes. Excited by this discovery, the boy celebrates that stacking repeated skills serves as a direct shortcut. Thrilled with this advantage, he prepares for the next body, calculating that he'll max out this power in no time. But a frustrating notification cuts his joy short, informing him that the absorption ability is back on cooldown. Scratching his head in disappointment, the MC remembers that he can't abuse the system by devouring everything without limits. Accepting the temporary block, he decides to finish his work shift and train the moves manually later. Meanwhile, back on the front lines, the landscape is revealed to be a truly devastating, nightmarish scene. On the front lines, a soldier directs the transport of a damaged body, warning them to be careful as their comrade's neck is only held on by skin. The scene reveals several heavy-duty trucks being completely loaded with the fallen in battle. With the process finished, one of the workers signals that the first transport vehicle is full and ready to go. Immediately after, the heavy tires begin to turn, pulling away over the rough terrain. The vehicle continues on its way through the cold night. Carrying the mortal remains far from there. Amidst the rubble, the corpse of a giant beast lies with a dark aura surrounding it. Suddenly, the monster's corrupted spirit manifests, emanating a threatening glow. Changing scenes, the day breaks at the military academy with students chatting peacefully in the hallways. Walking with her notebooks, Lin Xin is stopped by a classmate who demands her attention for one last warning. This is Zhang Yang, who tells the girl to inform Lin Yu to meet him on the sports field, demanding that the boy kneel and apologize to Zhao Lai. Staring at the girl intimidatingly, the bully threatens that the MC won't be walking out of that hallway today if he refuses. Outraged by the demand, she retorts that it's impossible, as the aggressor attacked first and her friend did nothing wrong. Just then Zhao Lai himself appears, all bandaged up, accusing the girl of being an accomplice and claiming she was laughing during the fight. Indignant at the lie, the student shouts that it's a load of nonsense, denying any involvement in the scuffle. Taking advantage of the distraction, a hand sneakily reaches for the materials the girl is holding tightly to her chest. One of the goons snatches the object from her hands, ignoring her protests and mocking her for preparing notes for that trash. Not putting up with the abuse, the young woman lunges forward furiously, trying to get her notebook back at any cost. But the idiot just backs away and starts flipping through the pages, sarcastically commenting on all the dedication she put into highlighting the important points. In an act of pure malice, the bully rips it all in half, stating that there's no point in helping a failure destined to be useless. The pages fly through the air as the student screams in despair, reaching out in an attempt to save her work. Seizing the opportunity, Zhao Lei grabs the girl forcefully and taunts that this is what happens when you help the wrong person. Suddenly, heavy footsteps echo down the hall, and Zhang Yang coldly orders them to let the girl go immediately. Looking at his classmate crying on the floor, the cruel leader scoffs at her desperate tears over a simple ripped piece of paper. grabbing the student's chin. He implies that pleasing him would be far more advantageous than hanging out with that loser. Disgusted by the harassment, the young woman tells him to get lost and sinks her teeth into the aggressor's hand with all her might. Enraged, the coward lands a brutal blow to her face, calling the girl an ungrateful brat. With the impact, she falls down hurt, while her bandaged classmate celebrates the punishment, stating that she deserved it for her disrespect. Feeling the sting of the hit, Lin-Sin deeply regrets spending half the month preparing those notes to help her friend. Desperate, she crawls across the floor trying to gather the pieces, determined not to let them destroy everything. Without a shred of pity, the jerk of a leader looks down at her, shaking his head and lamenting that the young woman really doesn't know what's best for her. Losing his patience, the aggressor grabs the girl by her clothes and violently yanks her up, giving her no chance to defend herself. Throwing the huge vitality difference between them in her face, he guarantees that any resistance will only bring much more suffering. As the girl continues to struggle to escape, Jung promises to teach her an unforgettable lesson, since she seems to enjoy fighting so much. Completely sadistic, the coward shoves the victim and orders his 3 goons to attack her together, saying he'll take the blame if she ends up broken. One of the idiots charges forward with clenched fists, yelling about the price to pay for meddling in their group's affairs. But before the attack can land, a firm hand appears out of nowhere and blocks the assault with extreme ease. Revealing himself on the scene, the MC deflects the blow, filled with rage, questioning if they have any shame ganging up 4-on-1 against a girl. Relieved by his arrival, the girl begs him to avoid trouble, suggesting they both just get out of there as quickly as possible. Ignoring her plea, the young man twists the goon's arm with crushing force, drawing an agonizing scream of pain. Watching the scene from a distance, the gang leader celebrates the arrival of his target, saving him the trouble of organizing a hunt. With the path clear, the boy picks up one of the destroyed pieces of the notebook. Noticing the content is focused on his school exam, squeezing the crumpled paper, he declares in a cold tone that he'll treat this incident as if wild dogs had ruined the notes. The provocation hits the leader's pride head on, who scowls, annoyed, accusing the loser of talking big for a nobody. Wasting no time on talk, Lin Yu charges forward, covered in an intense blue aura, swearing he will never forgive the violence against his friend. Surprised by the sudden advance, his opponent slides back, taking a defensive stance to brace for the impact. Facing the bully head-on, Lin Yu lets his energy flow and promises to return the humiliation he suffered twofold. The surrounding students are shocked by the boy's audacity, suspecting he's gone insane for challenging the big shot like that. On the other side, the bandaged goon desperately begs his boss to beat the upstart to a pulp without mercy. But Jung Young just unleashes his own crushing power, finding the trash's courage too interesting to waste on a quick fight. Extending his hand authoritatively, the rich kid proposes they settle their differences in a public duel in the central arena in 3 days. The aggressor sets his terms, guaranteeing he'll apologize and pay for damages if he loses, and never cause trouble in the school again. Showing an official academy form, he completes the bet, leaving the severe consequences for the newcomer's potential defeat hanging in the air. Looking deep into his opponent's eyes, the jerk demands total surrender if he wins, forcing the loser to admit his uselessness and drop out of school. The crowd whispers in horror, realizing the real intention of the challenge is to completely destroy the boy's reputation and future. Worried, his friend grabs his arm, pleading with him not to fall for the trap, reminding him that his sister still needs care. One of the classmates tries to talk some sense into the young man, warning him about the absurd power difference and the dire consequences of expulsion. Taking advantage of the hesitation, Jia Lei starts mocking him again, telling the coward to just get on his knees if he's so terrified of the impending beatdown. Tired of the nonsense, the MC snatches the document in one swift move and accepts the offer on the spot, demanding just one condition. Turning his back with complete calm, he demands that the entire confrontation be recorded and publicly broadcast to the whole academy. Without a shred of doubt, the pen glides across the official paper, confirming the boy's signature as the challenger in the battle. With the bet sealed, the MC tosses the contract back, saying he wants everyone to witness his enemy's defeat for all time. Snatching the paper out of the air, Jung shows pure mockery, certain that this arrogant attitude will be the loser's ultimate downfall. Walking down the hall filled with determination, Lin Yu makes it clear that on the day of the fight, everyone will know who really belongs in the trash. Later, as the sun begins to set, the crematorium smokestacks start puffing smoke again, marking the start of another night shift. Dressed in his protective gear, the boy walks through the complex's facilities, focused solely on his goal of evolving. He reflects internally that, in these 3 days, he'll have to give it his all to improve his techniques or steal new abilities. The pressure of the bet weighs on his shoulders, and the young man is fully aware that winning this fight is the only acceptable option. Passing by the reception area, he overhears the manager talking to a newbie about a massive, newly arrived shipment of bodies. Surprised by the information, the MC remembers that the other unit mentioned specializes in processing high-level alien beasts. Nearby, the suck-up-in-a-tie butters up the manager, praising his leadership, while the boss promises to reward the recruit's dedication. Cutting through the friendly atmosphere, the supervisor notices the employee standing there and yells, demanding he get back to work immediately if he wants to get paid. Unfazed by his superior's rudeness, the young man responds dryly and directly that he's already heading to his area. As soon as the heavy door closes, Lin Yu mutters about how that disgusting old man changes his attitude in the blink of an eye depending on who he's talking to. In another incineration room, the brown-nosing newbie realizes the mess he's in when he comes face to face with the enormous alien wolf on the gurney. Completely terrified by the slain beast's brutal appearance, the recruit starts sweating bullets and lets out a scream of pure despair. The corrupted beast rises gigantic behind the terrified recruit. Blood splatters everywhere as the young man lets out a scream of agony. Just then, a violent thud echoes through the silent corridors of the crematorium. Walking outside, Lin Yu stops, suspicious, wondering if that was a scream. As silence returns, the boy thinks he was just hearing things and decides to get back to work. Entering his room, he finds it odd that today's bodies are all alien beasts. Staring at a giant paw, he laments that he won't be able to practice martial arts today. Suddenly, the MC notices a long tail on the floor, finding its color very strange. Apparently, the scales on that piece seem to be changing color on their own. Focused on the anomaly, the young man moves closer, trying to understand what's happening. But from the shadows, a gigantic monster lunges brutally with its jaws wide open. The boy is terrified as he realizes the lethal ambush is just inches away. Acting on pure instinct, he makes a desperate leap backward, escaping the lunge. The creature lands heavily on the metal floor, displaying all its fury. However, in the next instant, the beast simply vanishes into thin air without a trace. He quickly deduces that the monster didn't come from the corpse, but rather used the body as camouflage. The boy remembers the battlefield and understands how the beasts are infiltrating. Lin Yu gets into a combat stance, knowing he needs to act before the place turns into a living hell. The young man closes his eyes and heightens his senses, using his martial arts to locate the target. The environment falls into absolute silence as he maintains total focus on the enemy's presence. Quickly, the young man pinpoints the exact position of the threat hidden in the shadows. With agility, the MC grabs a sturdy metal bar, preparing for the fight. He puts all his strength into the movement and unleashes a swift strike, cutting through the air in the room. The violent impact hits its mark, forcing the creature to break its invisibility. The monster roars in rage as the boy tells the useless beast to get away from him. In a quick retaliation, the beast lunges, tearing into the boy's shoulder with its sharp claws. Blood drips from the wound, leaving Lin Yu worried about the risk of corruption. A huge wave of relief washes over him when he sees he dodged the worst of it, thanks to his military training. Suddenly, the speakers order a general evacuation, warning of beasts in several rooms. Hearing the tense announcement, the boy looks toward the exit, shocked by the scale of the invasion. The boy notices there are no power fluctuations in the area, and decides he can get out of there. A cold determination takes hold of the young man in the face of imminent danger. Through the crack in the door, he finds the dead manager and confirms the source of the earlier scream. Now in the blood-stained hallway, the MC wonders how many beasts got inside. Just ahead, desperate employees are screaming for help as they flee from a pack of monsters. Lin Yu focuses on what's important and hurls his metal bar with all his strength to help them. The object flies true, hitting the beast in the mouth and stopping its lethal attack. Further ahead, a man in a suit holds the door to a safe room, telling everyone to get inside quickly. The group scrambles in panic, running desperately to try and save themselves. The MC decides to head for the safe zone and wait for the army, since there are too many targets. In the middle of the rush, one of the men tells the boy to stay behind and provide cover. In an act of pure cowardice, the suit shoves him violently toward the beast. Lying on the floor, face to face with the monster, the young man curses those scumbags. He tries to get up quickly, understanding that the beast's camouflage makes any slip up fatal. Safe inside, the coward tells his colleague to forget the trash and lock the door right now. Desperate over the betrayal, Lin Yu screams at the top of his lungs for them to wait. The boy makes a mad dash down the hallway, trying to reach the entrance before it's too late. From inside, the coward says that one dead piece of trash is one less burden, enraging the young man. Banging on the heavy metal, the MC screams for them to open the door immediately. Leaning against the completely sealed entrance, he realizes he's been abandoned to be devoured. A cold, focused look quickly replaces the initial panic of the rejected boy. Turning his back to the door, he faces 4 beasts and notices they hunt in a pack. Knowing there's no way out, the young man concludes that the only option left is to fight with everything he's got. He reflects that the soldiers on the front lines face worse things and keep on fighting. Having devoured the memories of those warriors, he swears he won't tarnish their legacy by running away. On top of all that, his sister is still waiting for her medicine, and getting finished here is not an option. Engulfed in a crushing aura, Lin Yu charges forward, choosing his first target. The monster recoils slightly, surprised by the cornered prey's aggressive attitude. Focused and with clenched fists, the boy prepares for the clash with a look of murder in his eyes. Thanks to his high military proficiency, he's confident he can sense the enemy's energy. He skillfully dodges the enemy's claws, letting the dark energy flow through his body. With his sharp vision, the young man pinpoints the creature's weak spot with perfect accuracy. Without hesitation, Lin Yu sinks his mutated claw into the beast's chest in a brutal strike. The boy senses swift movement and immediately turns to face the next opponent. In a merciless attack, he smashes the beast into the ground, believing he can win if he keeps this up. Immediately after, the MC stomps down hard on the fallen body to ensure the target is finished. The young man leaps high into the air, displaying his glowing red claw, thirsty for blood. The mutated arm slices through the air, easily severing the third creature's head. Facing the sprawled-out body, he assesses the situation, calculating that there are only 2 monsters left. However, he's hit with a massive shock when the enemies simply vanish from his sight. The young man analyzes the empty space and concludes that these are much stronger for being able to hide their aura. With his defensive stance ready, the MC tells himself not to let his guard down. He tries to stay calm, confident that the beasts will soon make a foolish mistake. A deathly silence falls over the hallway as thick drops splatter on the metal floor. Just then, Lin Yu is caught off guard when he feels a fluctuation right behind him. Staring furiously into the empty space, Lin Yu declares that he's finally found the scumbag. From the shadows on the ceiling, the corrupted beast leaps down, attempting a deadly surprise attack. But the boy is faster and blocks the lunge, sinking his claws directly into the beast's chest. In that moment, he quickly realizes there's another creature charging at his back. A violent blow cuts through the air, and blood splatters everywhere, staining the corridor. Down and bleeding, the MC curses the monsters for being such cowards. Even with his left hand nearly useless, he maintains a firm stance, focused on the lethal fight. Just ahead, the giant beast threatens to attack as its aura begins to fade again. Noticing the target's disappearance, the young man guarantees that this time, the creature won't get away. Thick drops of blood run down his injured arm, dripping relentlessly onto the metal floor. Lured by the scent, the creature emerges from the ceiling, slashing through the air right toward the boy. The monster's murderous gaze locks onto its prey, certain the attack will be a complete success. However, the MC smirks confidently, revealing he dirtied the enemy's claw on purpose. Giving it no chance to defend, he unleashes a brutal counterattack, plunging his hand into the monster. Letting out a war cry, Lin Yu charges forward with all his strength to end the battle. The devastating impact tears the beast's body in half in the blink of an eye. Hitting the ground hard, the young man finishes the move, as the creature falls dead behind him. Completely out of breath, he struggles to stay on his feet, knowing he can't pass out yet. With his vision blurring, the boy remembers he needs to hurry and get out of this place. But his body reaches its limit, and he collapses unconscious in the middle of the blood-soaked hallway. Just then, the remains of the slain monster give one last bizarre twitch on the metal floor. The MC remains unconscious as his mutated claw exudes an intense, dark aura. Far from there, the armed rescue team advances down the corridor, lighting up the dark path. The captain warns of a possible threat and orders the squad to keep their guard up. As they light up the area, one of the soldiers is completely shocked by the bizarre scene he finds. Faced with a pile of dead monsters, they can hardly believe a young man did this all by himself. One of the suits pokes his head out, relieved, thinking the rescue team cleared the area. The captain quickly ignores the guy and orders his team to help the living and investigate everything. Analyzing the beast's wounds, the leader notices the cuts didn't come from ordinary weapons. Meanwhile, one of the agents shouts, announcing that the boy on the ground is still breathing. The recruit points desperately at the young man's arm, showing them something incredibly terrifying. The boy's claw is still fully mutated, emitting dark smoke of corruption. In a panic, the squad aims their weapons, demanding they take out the young man before he turns into a monster. But the leader raises his hand, ordering everyone to stop as he notices the mutation is fading. Hiding behind the squad, the cowardly suit demands the boy's immediate execution. He knows that if the boy wakes up, his betrayal of locking him out will be revealed. Having no patience for cowards, the captain threatens to finish the idiot himself if he opens his mouth again. Turning his focus back to the scene, the officer concludes that the young man took down 4 beasts on his own. The soldiers gulp, remembering that their entire team would have struggled to take out these creatures. Ignoring the warning, the suit insists that the trash has low power and must be corrupted. Impressed, the captain holds the boy's healed arm, thinking he's some kind of legendary prodigy. He throws it in the coward's face that real corruption is incurable, so the boy is clean. Caught in his lie, the supervisor tries to come up with a lame excuse about military security. Making up his mind, the leader picks up the young man and announces that the army needs warriors like him. Hours later, the day dawns peacefully over the facade of a massive, elite city hospital. Lying on a comfortable gurney, Lin Yu slowly wakes up, trying to figure out where he is. Hearing the beeping of machines, he sits up in bed and deduces he's in a hospital room. Right beside him, the squad captain stands with his arms crossed, assuring the boy that he's safe. Still confused by the situation, the MC asks who this man standing there is. Showing his official badge, Chen Zhen introduces himself as the leader of the cleanup team. The officer bows his head, taking the blame for the delayed rescue that almost got the boy taken out. The young man reassures the soldier, saying it was a surprise attack and no one could have predicted it. Impressed, Chen praises him for taking down the 4 beasts, stating that it was a huge help. Wasting no time, the captain makes his offer, inviting the young man to become a real warrior. The MC's eyes light up with excitement as he asks if he really has a chance. Surprised by the quick response, the officer asks where this crazy desire to fight comes from. The boy remembers the bodies at the crematorium and how human casualties are rising way too fast. With a clenched fist, he vows that he wants to go to the front lines to protect his family. Laughing loudly, the leader claps him on the shoulder, telling him he first needs to pass a test. Internally, Chen assesses that the boy's strength and determination show incredible potential. The excitement fades, and Lin Yu laments that his vitality is too low to even enter the test. But the officer hands him a stamped paper, proving he already has the necessary qualifications. Walking toward the exit, Chen announces that the big selection exam will start in 1 month. The room door closes heavily as the officer tells the rookie to be prepared. Holding the document, the boy celebrates that a warrior's position will bring a cure for his sister. Suddenly, the system panel pops up, offering the memories of yesterday's beast. The app displays 3 skill options, proving that yesterday's beatdown was well worth it. Scratching his chin, the MC analyzes the alternatives, unsure which power will be the best. He remembers that the first option offers a scale armor, perfect for focusing on defense. The second ability is a direct upgrade to his red claws, increasing physical damage. But the third alternative completely grabs his attention with the trick of turning invisible. Certain of victory, he concludes that camouflage is lethal and chooses that technique without a second thought. The young man's finger presses the virtual button, confirming the new absorption for his own arsenal. An insane amount of energy takes over his body as the system explains the rules of use. Testing the power, the boy's arm turns invisible, proving he's now a master of stealth. Analyzing his own arm, Lin Yu notices that the camouflage isn't perfect yet and needs more practice. The intelligence system soon confirms the evolution of his mutated claws and stealth technique to level 1. Since he can't devour souls all the time, he decides to train his current energy control to its absolute limit. With this, the boy ensures he has an ace up his sleeve, perfect for the duel against Zheng Yang next week. The intense training begins in the middle of a forest, completely isolated from the city. Frustrated, he realizes he can't even fool a little bird with his faulty invisibility. To improve his focus, the young man meditates under a waterfall, trying to master his own dark energy. An intense aura surrounds his body as he expands the range of his concealment technique. Back home, he calmly tests his progress in front of the bathroom mirror. The reflection shows his right hand completely disappearing into thin air without a trace. Thrilled with the result, he pushes forward, focusing on concealing the other half of his body as well. Just then, the virtual panel announces that his camouflage proficiency has jumped 5% all at once. An enormous sense of victory washes over the boy as he sees his efforts finally paying off. Full of confidence, he leaves home, ready to show the rich kid leader who the real trash is. The big day of the duel arrives at the Academy's central arena, with the stands packed, awaiting the massacre. In the audience, Lin Xin watches, worried that her friend hasn't shown up at school for the past few days. Nearby, the goons gossip, certain that the coward won't show his face because of the traps set in the arena. The aggressor enters the stage surrounded by intense flames, showing off his oppressive firepower. Mocking the situation, Zhang Yang asks if his prey ran away because he was so scared of the impending beatdown. The teacher laments his absence, certain that the student's expulsion is now just a matter of time. Suddenly, the heavy arena doors are thrown open with a violent bang that silences the place. Lin Yu walks calmly down the corridor, exuding a cold and completely focused aura. Each firm step the young man takes echoes up the stairs, showing he hasn't an ounce of fear for the combat. As soon as he steps into the ring, he notices from a distance that the flooring near the edge has a very suspicious shape. Pleased with his target's arrival, the rich kid finds the loser's last-minute audacity amusing. Ignoring the jokes, the MC tells the jerk to get on his knees and apologize once and for all. Enraged by the disrespect, the coward tells his opponent to go to heck and launches his attack. A heavy, flaming punch cuts through the air, heading straight for the boy's face. Frustrated by his enemy's quick dodge, the bully questions how long his target can keep evading. The rich kid unleashes a brutal sequence of blows as the young man skillfully retreats, dodging everything. In the stands, the goon screams like a madman, telling his boss to show him the crushing power difference. Wasting no time, the aggressor stumps firmly on the marked flooring, preparing a devastating blow. Cornering his prey on the edge, he throws it in his face that his opponent has nowhere left to run. Zheng Yan leaps into the air, his right fist engulfed in an insane amount of aggressive flames. The explosive impact completely destroys the ring floor, kicking up a thick cloud of smoke. But in the midst of the dust, Lin Yu remains calm, knowing this was the exact opening he was waiting for. Using his maximum speed, the young man appears behind his enemy, completely unnoticed. Lin Xin is utterly shocked to see that her friend was hiding such an incredible movement trick. Annoyed by the escape, the rich kid calls the technique a cockroach move and swears it won't save the coward. Expelling his fire energy in all directions, he tries to force the stealthy enemy to show himself. A precise, invisible attack strikes his back, causing a painful and lethal cut. Losing his patience, the aggressor activates a blue energy armor, promising to take out the scumbag. Cornered by the invisibility, he desperately yells for his goon to activate the arena's hidden mechanisms. At that exact moment, a giant electric fence rises from the edges, completely sealing off any escape route. The metal floor erupts, releasing walls of intense fire that cut off all possible exits. The entire arena turns into a lethal, flaming cage, trapping the two fighters in the center for good. The teacher screams desperately, demanding they stop the fight as the traps are a total violation of the rules. Certain of his superiority, the bully ignores the warnings from outside, stating that he makes the rules in here. The coward moves quickly through the infernal landscape, trying to locate his prey hidden in the smoke. Pure evil takes over the villain as he finally spots the silhouette of his target amidst the destruction. The aggressor shatters the floor with a heavy stomp as the boy Ajali leaps away, escaping the swift attack. Landing at a distance, Lin Yu analyzes that a head-on fight is suicide and decides to focus on the weak point of that defense. With his arm protected by concentrated energy, the enemy unleashes a very powerful slashing attack. Observing the slow movements, the young man notices that the armor circulates life force throughout the entire body. The rich kid's whole body glows intensely, confirming the invulnerability of his advanced defense technique. The MC discovers the secret, finding that the entire energy flow originates from his opponent's dantian. Confident in his own impenetrable resistance, Zhang charges forward with crushing force, wanting to end the fight. But he halts his advance, completely frustrated, upon realizing his target has vanished into thin air right before his eyes. Screaming to the heavens, he calls the rookie a cowardly piece of trash, who only knows how to use dirty tricks to hide. Overcome by pure rage and impatience, the aggressor throws punches into the void, hoping to hit something by chance. Taking advantage of the distraction, Lin Yu appears quickly and strikes with his mutated claw right at the enemy's illuminated chest. The shock is immense when he realizes his piercing blow barely even tickled the bluish barrier. Mocking the useless effort, Zhang guarantees that his A-rank defense is immune to weak attacks. The young man quickly retreats, using his extreme speed to gain distance and come up with a new tactic. Since the shield nullifies blades, he decides to focus on raw military force and cause internal shock damage. Noticing the change in fighting posture, the coward focuses on staying calm to find his opponent's vital flaw. The MC shoots forward like a blue bolt, confusing the enemy's vision with his unpredictable movements. The two clash brutally in the center of the arena, trading blows at an absurd speed. The aggressor blocks a direct punch with his arm and scoffs, asking if that's all the rookie's got. In a perfectly calculated spin, Lin Yu uses his own body's rotation to deliver a powerful reverse punch. Pushed back by the relentless assault, the bully notices a slight flaw in the rhythm of his opponent's aura. A sick confidence grows in him as he becomes absolutely certain he's found the blind spot in the dodge. Without a second thought, he drops his guard and lands a brutal cross punch directly to the hero's chest. The absurd impact sends the boy flying backward as the rich kid repeats that no physical attack will break his defense. Sliding smoothly across the scorched floor, the MC lands firmly, calling the jerk back to the fight. Lin Yu lands a direct punch with all his strength right in the middle of his enemy's bluish barrier. The rigid defense takes the hit, and a small crack begins to form at the point of impact. Sensing the danger, the aggressor reacts immediately, preparing a devastating counterattack. A heavy blow lands squarely on the MC's guard, forcing him to retreat quickly. Grabbing the boy by his clothes, Zhang Yang guarantees the tricks are over and sends the trash to heck. Thanks to his military training, the young man endures the pain, focusing only on maintaining a firm stance. Taking advantage of the opening in the villain's defense, Lin Yu pulls his arm back, ready to retaliate. With intense focus, he tells himself that this is the perfect moment for a counterattack. Just then, an absurd amount of energy explodes, hitting the core of his opponent's shield directly. The violent shock sends the coward stumbling back as his armor bravely withstands the damage. Regaining his balance, the rich kid scoffs that a coward full of tricks and low vitality will never be a warrior. Tired of hearing so much nonsense, the hero announces that from now on, he won't use camouflage or surprise attacks. With his mutated claws activated, he promises that a single move will decide the match once and for all. Full of arrogance, the bully laughs, asking if he forgot that claw will never pierce his shield. Without backing down, the young man retorts that they'll have to try again to find out and charges forward for the clash. Filled with hatred, Zhang Yang announces that this final kick will expel the trash from the school forever. The bully leaps, delivering a merciless aerial strike as a dark aura envelopes the attack. Focused, Lin Yu understands the intent was to finish him, but his military training allowed him to predict the trajectory. With absurd speed, he lands a devastating blow on the barrier, asking if his enemy really thought he couldn't be read. Pain twists the aggressor's face as he stands in shock, unable to process the brutal assault. Unable to withstand the pressure of the pinpoint attack, the invincible energy barrier begins to completely shatter. Instantly, all the coward's pride crumbles, and he lets out an agonized scream as his armor explodes into pieces.